Vice Chairman of the Supreme National Council for Education, PUC founder and Chairman and CEO, Dr. Jia Samjangpal, PUC President, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon again. We will come to you our special session with a Khmer Rouge survivor, and this afternoon we are having 6 speakers who have been through the Khmer Rouge period. Each of them will briefly talk about his or her experiences during the time. Without further ado, may I invite Ms. Chum Sukha to be the first topic on women and family, then followed by politics, culture, livelihood, education, and youth. Ms. Chum Sukha, please.
Good afternoon, His Excellency Jose Ramos Horta, President of Timor-Leste, winner of the Nobel Peace Prize and delegation. His Excellency Dr. Kong Heng, Senior Minister and Royal Government of Cambodia, Vice Chairman of the Supreme National Council of Education, PUC founder, Chairman of PUC Board of Trustees. Dr. Jia Samjangpal, PUC President, Dean and faculty members. First of all, I would like to thank the PUC to give me this opportunity to deliver a short presentation about women and family during the Khmer Rouge from April 17, 1975 till January 7, 1979. In fact, there is a lot of information on the internet, but the story that I'm going to tell you about are true, and I learned from the people around me, which is called children group and called Tong Koma. As mother, women could not meet or take care of them in terms of food, education, or sickness. Mother was very worried about their children. They did not know whether they were fine, sick, or hungry. The only one thing that women could do at that time was crying silently and pray to the Buddha. And if they refused, they would be destroyed or put in jail. During Khmer Rouge, all the people worked for exchange little food or sometimes no food. Khmer Rouge said women and men have equal rights. Therefore, if men can carry 100 kilograms of rice, women have to do so. But naturally, women are weaker than men. Therefore, they cannot do the same physical work as men. However, Khmer Rouge did not care about this, and they forced women to overwork, so they became sick and died gradually. In contrast, in new Cambodian society, men and women have equal rights in terms of sharing ideas and working in any department of the government. For example, in one family, if husband cannot earn enough money, women can work outside and help. But if husband can support the family alone, women just stay home and do household chores, looking after children and give additional education to the kids. Husband and wife help each other in earning money and doing housework. Nowadays, women work to fulfill their needs and to improve their standard of living. Women live happily and can decide to do what they want. My presentation finished now. Thank you for attention.
About significant Cambodian political situation during the Khmer Rouge regime. Then the country became the constitutional monarchy, which was under the leadership of King Norodom Sihanouk from 1953 to 1970. After living in peace and tranquility about a decade, Cambodia was threatened by internal crises such as economic difficulties, corruption, growing alienation between the people and the government, the growth of militant communists, and external crises, for instance, conflicts in neighboring Vietnam. Because of those crises, King Sihanouk's period of reign was ended up by a bloodless coup on March 18, 1970.
After King Sihanouk was overthrown by the pro-American Field Marshal Lonald on March 18, 1970, a new regime called the Khmer Republic was instated in October 1970. By then, Cambodia was plunged into civil war and the Vietnam War. And on April 17, 1975, the Khmer Republic collapsed and the Khmer Rouge forces occupied Phnom Penh. Now permit me to quickly describe the political situation under the Democratic Kampuchea, known to the world as the Killing Field, the regime which was under the firm control of Pol Pot from April 17, 1975 to January 7, 1979. The collapse of the Khmer Republic on April 17, 1975 marked the victory of the Democratic Kampuchea, the Communist Khmer Rouge under the leadership of Pol Pot. Soon after occupying Cambodia's towns and cities, the Khmer Rouge evacuated all city dwellers into the countryside to remote, far-flung, or malaria areas with little or no preparation. The city dwellers had been told that they had to leave immediately because the Americans were going to bomb the cities, but that they would be allowed to return in a few days. During that chaotic evacuation, mass executions were first conducted for the former Khmer Republic soldiers, military officers, police, intellectuals, and all educated people whom they could find. Also, civil servants and officials of the Lonald regime were asked to identify themselves. The Khmer Rouge said the civil servants and officials would be needed to have run the country. But instead of being taken to have run the country, as they were told, they were taken and immediately shot dead. All urban people who had been evacuated were forced to take up agricultural tasks, such as clearing land, planting crops, and building canals, all under severe supervision from armed soldiers and Khmer Rouge cadres. Living conditions deteriorated, especially for those unaccustomed to physical labor. Every single day, people were murdered for complaining about living conditions, for expressing religious sentiments, for not working hard, for collecting food for their own use, for having sexual relations, or for grieving over the loss of relatives or friends. The evacuees from the cities were driven hard, rising before 5 a.m. in the morning and sometimes working until 8 p.m. if there was sufficient light. Where auctions were not available, groups of 8 people pulled plows in their stead. Workers who did not meet their quota were reprimanded, and if they did not improve, they were sent to the Angkala, means higher organization, which meant execution. Workers were not given enough to eat and had to forage in the field and woods for lizards, crabs, insects, etc. The Khmer Rouge soldiers told the evacuees that they had it easy compared to what the revolutionaries had to endure during the war. When workers complained about the food, the soldier told them, "If you are not happy, we will take you to a place where there is more than enough to eat, i.e. to the place of execution, where there were many dead bodies." The Khmer Rouge soldiers, on the other hand, had plenty. They justified the difference on the argument, "You are prisoners of war. We were hungry for 5 years. Now it's your turn." The Khmer Rouge isolated Cambodia from all foreign influences. At that time, Cambodia had a severe absence of teachers, professors, doctors, engineers, lawyers, bankers, artists, monks, and other civil servants. Traditional family life was violently disrupted and virtually abolished. Families were broken up and were replaced with communal groupings. Children,
siblings, parents, husbands, wives, and grandparents all work and live separately from each other. The people live in a very frightening situation, and no one trusted one another. Buddhism and other religions were repressed ruthlessly. Temples were destroyed or put to secular uses, and monks were defrauded, tortured, and forced to do manual labor. Markets, currency, and formal education were beyond imagination. During its rule over Cambodia, the Khmer Rouge, under the political and ideological leadership of Pol Pot, strove to build a socially and ethnically homogeneous society by abolishing all pre-existing economic, social, and cultural institutions, and transforming the population of Cambodia into a collective workforce. Within 3 years, 8 months, and 20 days, an estimated 1.7 million souls had perished from murder, starvation, overwork, and diseases. Its brutality gave the community Hanoi, who had waited for the best opportunity, a pretext for coming to Cambodia in December 1978. The democratic Kampuchea was ended and a neo-colonial rule emerged. There are major lessons of the Cambodian nightmare. The first and most important is that the forced march of economic development under a Marxist, Leninist, Stalinist program did not work, despite the tragic sacrifices of the people. Little or nothing of lasting value were accomplished, and the system could not even meet the necessities of life. Another thing to remember is that power is dangerous under any circumstance, and absolute power in the hands of self-righteous fanatics is almost certain to produce a living hell like Cambodia during the Khmer Rouge period. Thank you very much.
It was a long prehistoric establishment of the Austro-Asiatic group. The second stage commenced with the introduction of Indian culture. The third stage combined these two earlier trends into the basic today's Cambodian tradition. On the golden age of Cambodia was between the 9th and the 14th centuries, during the Angkor period, during which it was a powerful and prosperous empire that flourished and dominated almost all of inland Southeast Asia. Many temples from this period, however, like the Bayon and Angkor Wat, still remain today, scattered throughout Indochina country as a reminder of the grandeur of Khmer art and culture. Cambodia unparalleled achievement in art, architecture, music, and dance. During this period have had a great influence of many neighborhood kingdoms, namely Thailand and Laos. The effects of Angkorian cultures can still be seen today in these centuries as they share many close characteristics with current days of Cambodia. Cambodia began to decline gradually after the death of the great King Chairman VII in 1980. The country has no record of several centuries and referred to endless dispute and civil war. The neighborhood kingdom attacks and looted kingdom from time to time. Capital city evacuated, abandoned, shifted from side to side as the kingdom crumbled, including Phnom Penh. The Khmer were driven out, tortured, degraded, burned, and destroyed. In 1863 to 1953, the French took full control of power over politics, economics, and social life to the French residents, and made Cambodia a colony. For nearly 100 years, the French deprived the country of much of its sovereignty. In 1949, Prince Norodom Sihanouk proclaimed Cambodian independence, and in 1953, the full independence was granted. Unfortunately, Khmer culture actually had been disappeared once from Cambodia in the troubled period of Khmer Rule region in 1975 to 1979. Khmer Rule leaders Pol Pot formed a communist peasant farming society which resulted in the death of the 3 million people from starvation, overwork, and execution. There were forcible evacuation, mass murderers, and purposeful starvation of its own people, genocide against national minority, sociocide against the intelligentsia, eradication of the upper and middle class, and the perceived supporters of the old region. Wanton destruction of temples, factories, and modern machinery. The abolition of religion, money, private property, school, book, houses, hospital, families, and the introduction of the forced labor of the entire population, including children separate from their parents. Tragedy affected everyone, everywhere in the country. It was the most obscure period of Cambodian history. It was a period of upheaval and radical social change that devastated the art, culture, tradition, health, morality, physical environment, and shook Cambodian society to its roots. Fun is said to have reborn and begun to flourish again after the United Nations sponsored election of 1993. And established to ensure peace and security of Cambodia. After the general election, Cambodian people have a dilemma in surviving themselves as well as rebuilding their handicapped country. However, we are proud of our great civilization and continue to learn from our past and to preserve our wonderful ancestral heritage. Thank you very much.
That was sent out of their hometown. In the 1970-75, the people were cooperating and worked with the government in order to fight for the field of the battlefield for the war that we call Civil War in Cambodia. But the people in the liberated area was called neutral aid team, that among of 10 or 30 families was counted. In 1925, that team was changed to low-level cooperatives, that those only 100 or 200 people were called. But in 1977, they changed to lower-level cooperative to 200 or 300 people to high-level cooperative that among 1,000 families that we call sub-district. I, myself, and all my family, among 24 people, was sent to the North-West Zone that we call Battambang province. We left only 4 back after the liberation day. I and my mom, my mother, that she was passed away last year. Then we have been through in the labor of the state of the Khmer Rouge. This concentrated about to abolish private ownership of the Khmer Rouge, that we was suffer from that kind. They want to strengthen the status of the workers and peasants. But we are the people in the city. Among those, my family, we are the middle family. That my father was a teacher, that they count us that the operation by using the food which is so scarce. People were unpleasant and crucial because they need to survive. They do everything in order to survive. People give all their property to be used for collectively. Then people have nothing than their own. Khmer Rouge cooperatives, they mean great force for building the country. Khmer Rouge, they think the cooperative, the strong wall to protect the democratic country. This concerns to the daily life.
we always have the nightmare. We don't have time to be happy. We don't have time to socialize. Then we have to work hard. Even that we left the family. I myself was separated from my family. We call mobile Jew. That we force us to separate from all of 24. Then we stay alone. My sister and my father and my mother also separated. This concern to the nightmare all the time. That we always socialize with each other, especially in the time that we have like New Year and some of the religious ceremonies that we have. Always have the time together, but in Pol Pot time that we call DK, Democratic Committee, they ate core life, but unfortunately, they have to create two new classes that we call the old people and the new people. New class among us that were sent and evacuated from city to the countryside. That's the new class. But how about the old class that we call the base people? Among people who work and cooperate with the Khmeros the time before the 17th April 1975. But we, among the people, were evacuated from after 1975, that we call the new people and the old people. So you see the state in the society, we have two people have anger each other. The old people have think that we are the one from the city to get the food from there that they have built from long time in the Civil War. That we have nothing to do with that. But they send us to this. We have nothing to do with it. Base people live in the liberate area and then they have right to vote. But we are the new people, we have no right to do that. This concern to the nightmare that we have in that time. If you're talking about the marriage, we have no right to marry with the old people, with the base people. We have to waiting for the mass marriage that UNCA support, that UNCA organize for us. So we don't have to have the socializing with our family. We don't have the parent concentrate with this marriage of us. This country. Mobile people, children unit, youth unit, adult unit were forced out of the family, like I mentioned before. This no unit, united family, no question. If we have question about this, we have to send, we send to kill. Then we say that we have to work whatever that UNCA sent us to do and ask us to do. We have to do the hard work, the difficult task, ditch canal, ditch the reservoir, build dike, clear land, plant harvest right, and work over 12 hours a day. No question. Purge and massacre. UNCA means the Khmeros always search for enemy. They fear the enemy everywhere. The enemy among other people. The enemy among our family. The enemy among our people who was evacuated from the city. They think that the enemy always located there. That's why from day to day, from night to night, we always work with this kind of building. The suspect. We are the suspect. We suspect as accused as the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, and then KGB, Soviet Secret Police, and then we are Vietnam. So all these three that we accuse, they accuse us. Then, if we have something wrong with that of kind of follow this stuff of working, we have to fall in that suspect, this concern. So people were sent to kill. We only say that we cannot change our life, even that we know our past. But nowadays, we still think about the nightmare that happened to us. This concentrate to our memory. I myself, among 24 members, was sent to kill people. I am one of 4 back to the hometown after 7 January 1929. This is my short message for you. Actually, we have more than that, but unfortunately, we have no time to that. Thank you.
So I think because the time is short, could you please make about Less than 5 minutes.
And just small boys. So talking about education during Pol Pot, at that time no school in general, no formal schools. We have only primary school grade 1, grade 2 and grade 3 maximum in my province. So I passed it. So all children were sent to study under trees or under house, people's house. So teachers were selected from whole family who could write a little bit and read a little bit and just plus and minus simple mathematics. And so we study only 1 or 2 hours per day, 2 or 3 days per week, and several weeks per year. The rest of our times we work in the farm. We collect the waste of cows from water buffalo and from human to make fertilizer for farming. And we were taught to sing a nationalist song. I mean our song in terms of for brainwash to become the pure communist for next generation. So even parents or brothers or sisters, if they're against organization we call Angka, they have become enemy. So even in our family, so we were boys, small boys, so we don't listen to parents, we listen only to Angka, obey Angka, and believe only Angka, Angka being organization. So some boys who kill their parents because they believe Angka and their parents become enemy. This is very, very sad. For my village, we call all small kids, we call it's a pineapple eyes. They use the pineapple fruit, they got eyes around it, so they can see whatever you're doing. So we call pineapple eyes. And even wolf have ear to listen to you at night. So this is just a brief story about education in Cambodia during 3 years. So no university, no secondary, just primary school from grade 1 and 2 until grade 3. I myself studied from grade 1 until grade 3. 3 years study every year. I could read and could write Khmer Cambodian alphabet. That's it. Call ABC. That's it. So during 3 years period in my education. Thank you very much.
One question, curiosity. Some of the children, they told their story.
Seems like we got court case, Khmer Rouge Tribunal. So some people come up and talk about their own story on radio, and
They killed their parents.
Yes, very sad. Because they said they know nothing about, at that time, just listen to organization, listen to Angka.
Must be incredibly profoundly traumatizing for them having killed their own parents.
Either they do directly or indirectly by reporting wrong information to the organization, like the parents should not have hidden provision for the food, so they report it. When they report it, they kill the parent. So that's indirect.
One more question, or 2 or 3 questions. One, of course, we all heard about Pol Pot and the Ansari and the big ones. And many of them already died. But there are many others, like senior and middle ranking officers of the Khmer Rouge. What happened to them? Are they around, free?
Yes.
The military.
Or military or civilian party leaders? Because the party has like not only the top 6 or top 10, but they have hundreds more. No?
Yeah.
They are around. So second question is, you as victims, what do you feel about them? What is your, do you want to see them in jail? You hate them? You're angry? You want to see them dead? What do you feel?
For my idea, it seems like at that time it was boys, and seems like people they obey from one ranking to another. So, example, if they don't do this way, and they were killed as well. So, you know, through different level, and so the reason why we got the international court here, and so they will find out more details. It's international tribunal. So, okay,
do you agree with the international tribunal? You support it?
Yes, strong support. It's a lesson learned for our generation.
And in Cambodia, the same Pol Pot ordered to move the family from the city town to the rural areas. After they go to the rural areas, in the jungles especially, Pol Pot team had to manage and arrange children had to go to their groups, boy units and girl units. Young, that means female young men go to their community, and female young men go to their community. Mother, they have to their community, and father, they have to go to their community in the whole country, especially the youth. The youth is the third target to get killed. After the first target is police officer, military officer, soldiers, all the rank from the top until the bottom. And the second target to get killed, government official like the teacher, doctor, and the third target to get killed is the youth. The youth, for the first year, they try to get to know who's work for the government, who is the student. Like my area, northern parts of Cambodia, different from Eastern Vietnam. They invited intelligent the student to teach, but no. After that, we teach the children this primary level, secondary level, and then those of them very happy. And then after you get enrolled, you have to go back to your home. But in fact, it is the way that could let the people to get killed in tours like museum. Tens, thousands of people get killed because of the cheering people in order to suppress the youth and to stop them against the Pol Pot regime. They send the youth to dig a huge dams and then canal. They work very, very hard, no food, so some of youth they run away, get killed. Some youth because of starvation, they still get killed. Some youth they miss their family, secretly visiting their family, get killed. Some of youth they complain, why you treat us badly, get killed. So if some of youth they got very, very sick, and they accuse that you come from the highest position class in the city, often get killed. And some youth complain a lot, and and they visit sick because of no medicine to cure them. Many times, 1, 2, 3 times, and kill them. So every day we heard of crying for her, crying for justice. But very quiet. Died. In 1996, my father, Lieutenant Colonel Billy Foreign, got killed. 1976, my younger sister died because of starvation. 1978, my mother was killed because they accused of her of CIA person. So these events, these experience happen everywhere in Cambodia. In this case, I really support, the Khmer Rouge tribunal supported by UN. So I really want them
to get jailed because of Cambodian constitution. It's not allowed to execute anyone. So we really want them to get in the prison for life imprisonment. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, I'd like to invite you to try Cambodian tropical fruits and also some Cambodian snack. Please enjoy.
Well, to comment, because sometimes words are not necessary, are never enough. I understand, because what you say sometimes is similar to what people in my own country went through for 24 years. And as I said today in my speech, during the occupation, I myself lost 3 brothers, 1 sister. The sister was killed, we found her body, because the people in the village, very far away, they saw her killed and they buried her. And they kept eye on her grave for the following 20 years. In 2003, we exhumed and reburied in the city. And, but then, 1 brother, he died in the city, in the hospital, so that was okay. But 2 others, still till today, 20 years later, we don't know where they were killed. And so that, even happened with my own family. So you can imagine the less known people. In your case is a special, particular case in Cambodia. Ours, I have always opposed a tribunal. Why I oppose the international tribunal? Because majority of the crimes are committed by the Indonesian army. Who is going to impose a tribunal on Indonesia? Indonesia is was 10 years ago, very fragile and very proud country. They will never accept an international tribunal. And if an international tribunal were imposed anyway by Security Council, it would be empty, because no president in Indonesia would ever agree to surrender anyone to the international tribunal. And we set in motion also forces in Indonesia, not only Muslims but also secular groups, nationalist groups, all would be so angry with us. So it would be very difficult for our relation to normalize the relation with Indonesia. So that's one reason why I oppose an international tribunal, because it will make it much more difficult for us to recover. And there are many East Timorese who collaborated and with the Indonesian occupation. So who we are going to start trying? Select a few as an example? Is that justice? Because if you want to try, then try everybody from A to Z, not a select a few. Because when you say, well, we can only, for practical reasons, because that's what sometimes international tribunal they say, for practical reasons, they try only a few. Well, that's already sound politics. That's already a political decision. And in our case, I sometimes, yes, okay, we try Indonesia, but why only Indonesia? Why not the United States? They're the one who provide the weapons to the regime. So I say, in our case, not in the case of Cambodia, I don't talk about any other, because each situation is different. Each people in your own country are the ones who decide what is the best. In our case, our people, the common people, understand very well the reasons of state why we do it. And each of those who are guilty, they are the ones who will be forever haunted by the crime they committed. And And not me, not the innocent ones. Those who committed a crime, the victim, the soul of the victim, the blood of the victim, will always haunt them in their dreams, in their sleep, in their lives. And so that has been my philosophy. So, and the common people understand. I was elected direct by the people with 70% of the vote, even though they knew my position. And I'm very blunt. I tell people not what they want to hear, but what I feel. I tell them, do you want the International Tribunal? Find another president. I will not do it. For this reason. When I was foreign minister, I said the same. Do you want an International Tribunal? Find another foreign minister. And still I was elected. Last year, the International Republic Institute did a survey in the country. My popularity rating was 83%, the highest in the country. Even though
In the world.
probably higher in the world, and even though they know what because I don't play politics. I say what I feel, the best for the country. Because they all know where I stand. So, but I said that's in each country, you know. In Cambodia you have a different situation. Maybe what you are demanding is the best for the country. Like it was in Germany after World War II, in Japan after World War II, but not in South Africa. In South Africa, they say no to trials. I met with Mandela many times. When he first left prison, met with him sitting in his own bedroom in Johannesburg. One day he called me. I was waiting to see him, and he just came out of hospital because he had a knee operation. And he said, well, I called you to come here because I didn't want you to wait until I get better. And so he was in bed, you know, and we were chatting, and he said, well, in the case of South Africa, after decades of apartheid, of crime, there should be either a tribunal in South Africa or an international one, but it will never end the trials. So they did the Truth and Reconciliation Commission to tell the truth, to apologize. So that's what we decided to do in Timor. We do two mechanisms, a National Truth Commission and a bilateral one with Indonesia. The first time ever, two countries in conflict did a bilateral truth commission. Five commissioners appointed by the Indonesian president, 5 commissioners appointed by us, by myself. At the time was the President Shanana, with me as a foreign minister at the time. And when I became president, endorsed it. And they just finished their work with a very strict mandate to find the truth of the events in one single year, 1999. And in the end, the Indonesian army accepted responsibility. The Joint Commission, Indonesia and Timor, made up of the best people we could find on the two sides, concluded the Indonesian army was responsible for most of the violence. The Indonesian army said accepted responsibility, but no trials. And then we helped the victims. Killings of former Khmer Rouge, somewhere in Phnom Penh, somewhere in the town. Many of them were killed by angry victims. That is remarkable. It's right that you demand justice, but it's even more noble that we hear no violence, revenge against these individuals. You have shown to be greater than them. So that's my only words that we pay tribute to you. You have my fullest sympathy, and I hope the International Tribunal here do a proper job, because sometimes in some situations it drags on and on and on, and sometimes a total disaster. Like in the case of Bashir of Sudan, the prosecutor indicted him in a poorly prepared case, and the judges at The Hague threw away the case. So sometimes they're very expensive. Tens of millions of dollars spent on the international judiciary process. But if, like in the case of Cambodia, it serves a purpose, and the purpose is to tell the truth, to ascertain guilt, we shouldn't count money in this. As the international community has obligation to pay for it. No matter how much it costs, it's the obligation of the rich countries to pay for this. But they also should help the victim, not only pay the very expensive judges, prosecutors, but they should put money, millions of dollars, to help the victims. The problem sometimes they prepare, like in my country, because the UN had some, not a tribunal, they call it a serious crime unit, which is equivalent to a tribunal, but they did only research and prosecution and indictment. And they're prepared to pay millions of dollars to the judges, prosecutors, researchers. But how about putting some money aside for the victims? No, that's not part of their responsibility.
We don't know, whenever we have another opportunity, we would like to see you here or see you somewhere. We wish you very good luck and success in your peace mission. And thank you very much for your presence here.